Hello and welcome to my channel. Go ahead, hit the like, hit the share. For those of you who have been saying you haven't been getting my notifications, make sure when you go to the notification bell, it's on all instead of personalized. Maybe that is a problem, but a lot of people have been telling me this, so just check that out. If you can't tell by the pictures displayed, this video is going to cover Wayne Williams. It's going to hit on Linda Mensch and Diana Copeland and a couple other people. I tossed back and forth on how I was going to relay this video because I wanted to get as much information in it as possible and connect a lot of people. So, funny thing is, I was watching Rhythm and Flow, with T.I., Chance the Rapper, and Cardi B. And I told myself I wasn't even going to watch it just because of Chance the Rapper being in it. But I went on ahead and watched it anyway because I was bored. This COVID-19 got us locked in. And I saw a familiar face. Before I get to him, let's start with this. Now, if you had went back to R. Kelly's timeline, it's quite strange how before surviving R. Kelly, everything was all good with all these celebrities. People wanted to work with him. There was no outrage and disgust towards him as we see now. There was nobody calling him out or even questioning working with him. But then after surviving R. Kelly, that seemed to be what made all these people suddenly change their tune. How does that make sense? After surviving R. Kelly, all these people continue to flourish and live their lives. Even these so-called enablers that these fake survivors have talked about. But as I was saying, I was watching Rhythm and Flow, and I saw this guy by the name of King Los. And I recall having a conversation with him about Julius Darrington, in which he was vouching for him. So then I remembered seeing on Julius's SoundCloud a song by King Los. Then I also remember seeing some posts made by R. Kelly tagging King Los's name. The first one I came across was June 19, 2015, in which it appears he's promoting a song which says it was on rkelly.com. And then I saw a post May 17, 2018, in which R. Kelly is tagging King Los and is saying that Julius Darrington is the person doing the video. So, going backwards, for those of you who don't know, Julius Darrington was the last person saying that he was R. Kelly's A&R. And he was introduced to R. Kelly through Wayne Williams. Wayne Williams has been shouted out in many videos and has worked with R. Kelly from pretty much the beginning. So if anybody would know anything, you would think Wayne would. So when I heard his name being mentioned and somebody implying that he was stealing from R. Kelly, that's just not the impression that I got. So let's just start with, who is Wayne Williams, for those of you who don't know. Wayne Williams was the first person to bring R. Kelly to Jive, I believe. He was the main person being represented as R. Kelly's A&R. A lot of people don't know that Wayne Williams also has a background with the police force. He even went so far as to going to the police academy when he felt like his career path with the music industry wasn't going where he wanted. But somehow he managed to get back into the business. And somehow he managed to discover R. Kelly. Let's see a couple videos from Wayne Williams. Now, people find it so mind-boggling when they find out that certain individuals have flipped the script, or I guess you could say changed up. But I'm going to give you the prime example right here, because I came across these two videos in which this man is describing Wayne Williams. And the first video seems like everything is all cool. But then years down the line, whatever bad blood occurred, then he goes out and start making some outrageous claims. Just watch.
Yeah, Wayne started back in the day, before everything else was being called house and this and that. We had this thing, Herb Kent, as a matter of fact, called it punk. It was a punk out, new wave type thing that was going on back in the day. Yeah, Wayne used to get down, and he had his right-hand man, Batman. His name was Robert. And it was all the party was all about Wayne Williams and Batman. If he wasn't there at one of their parties, he wasn't at a real party. And it was this tripped out black station wagon. It wasn't a hearse, but it kind of looked like one. This was Batman used to be rolling. And him and Wayne would go to parties, Sawyers and here and there, and they used to just have a crowd rocking. And I read some things, a couple of people were questioning that, like the Chosen Few picnic, saying, well, does Wayne always play Popeye every year? And I'm like this here, Wayne paid his dues.
So I'm going to pause it there. And let's go to a more recent video. And that was published 2007. Not sure if that was when it was shot, but that's at least when it was published.
DJ Wayne Williams, Chosen Few DJs, bruh, it doesn't matter what you say negative about me, okay? Because what you eat don't make me shit. Isn't that a quote that your boy R. Kelly that you signed to Jive Records? Ain't that from one of his songs? Yeah. That don't bother me, and I'm the last motherfucker you need to worry about. What you need to be worrying about is one of the little ass girls going to the police, talking about what Kale's been doing for the last motherfucking 30 years, and give your description to a police officer that's taking an interview and say that you are the one that brought any girl anywhere to fuck around with that. foul ass motherfucker. That's what you need to be worrying about, going to motherfucking prison. Your ass need to be quiet as a church mouse pissing on cotton on social media. Mr. Clout Chasing, I'm hanging with Kales, Mr. I'm the DJ and Step in the Name of Love video. R. Kelly said my name on his record, DJ Wayne Williams, spinning the records. Yeah. Fuck out of here. Talking all that bullshit.
So I don't know who pissed in his Cheerios. But 3 months ago, here we have this video. You can go check out his page, Leonard R. Roy. Isn't that strange? The switch up in his demeanor and talking about the very same person. So let's fast forward. And even though a lot of people who jumped ship, as they reported, or quit working for R. Kelly 2018, when all this Surviving R. Kelly started to kick off, I haven't heard anything negative coming from Wayne Williams. So for some to imply that he was a part of any of the corruption going on behind the scenes, I'm just not getting that vibe. In fact, let's hear some words from Wayne himself.
Yes, I think, I moved to, I live in Los Angeles now, and, I think that it's funny, the years that, and I know Robert a while now, I think we maybe had, in all those years, maybe 3 disagreements, right? And they were all creative. And we both can be very stubborn, right? So,
Yeah.
we don't budge. We feel how we feel, We're men, and that's how we, we believe what we believe. But I think that, I think that he would probably like me more around, but obviously I have a family and I have to take care of my family. And so, it may be a little strained right now because I'm in Los Angeles and he's in Chicago and he's going through a lot right now, and I'm actually dealing with a lot of stuff as well. Of course, I'm not R. Kelly, so my stuff's not public.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, and so we're both dealing with our situations, but I think that we've done a lot together. We've made obviously incredible music together, and nothing can get in the way of that.
Right. When I've heard.
Well, yeah, I think that I've never. A lot of people think Robert, that I work for Rob. A lot of people think that he pays me, or has ever paid me, which he's never paid me. I never worked for him. I worked for the record company, and because of my position in the record company, I worked with him.
Okay.
And so, I notice sometimes people who maybe worked for him or whatever reason, then they left, and you hear bad things, But I have no bias when it comes to that because I don't owe him anything. I never worked for him, and I have, and plus I have no reason to lie because I wouldn't lie for anybody. Perfectly honest, But I think that we've always had a great working relationship and a great friendship, and
That's good. Mm-hmm. That's good to know.
So, hearing Wayne say that he didn't directly work for R. Kelly wasn't paying him, I'm just trying to understand why some would feel he would have a hand in some of the deception going on with his finances. There were other people who had direct hands and ties with his money other than Wayne Williams, who worked with him, not for him.
I asked him about, how much music Rob had, and R. Kelly came over with a box of cassette tapes, and I'm like, wow, this guy got a whole lot of music, and
So I came back here on the interview because I just wanted to point out the fact that Wayne is saying that when he met R. Kelly, he was at a party and he had a box full of cassette tapes. Now let's go to a narrative that was put out there that R. Kelly traveled around with this duffel bag full of tapes. They say they were sex tapes. How do we know that? For all we know, it was music on those tapes that he carried around as described. Because as we keep hearing, he doesn't read or write, and his form of making music is through audio form, recording things, etc., etc. Just a thought. And considering that we keep hearing how R. Kelly is such a workaholic, wouldn't it be obvious to think that he was around his people working with him a lot? So wouldn't they have witnessed something, if anything? But it's funny, those that don't have a grudge against R. Kelly never saw anything, as Wayne Williams puts out there.
in fact, he's super creative. He's a music guy through and through. Very nice person, very, very kind. That's what I know about R. Kelly. That's what I've experienced. And what else? He's kind of routine. He pretty much kind of does the same sort of things. He's a very routine orientated person, and a work.
That's another common thing we keep hearing with everybody that speaks about R. Kelly is he's very routine. So wouldn't it also be a common sense thing to know that if people within his entourage are making little side deals with people trying to introduce people to R. Kelly, however it goes, wouldn't they know his routine and put it out there for these specific people?
Workaholic. That's the best way to describe it.
So I'm glad you said that, because a lot of what we hear in the media and from people that were close to him is that he worked around the clock. Like, he basically, the studio was his life. He makes music. He's a God sent talent. While you were in the studio with him, before you left to move to New York.
And shout out to Phases for this interview, by the way. I have a bad habit by not vocally speaking on the people's clips, but I do try to show you where I get the clips from. But again, shout out to Phases for this interview.
New York, you were with him quite a bit. In the studio, were there, so let's back up. He's an R&B rock star. He's just a rock star. And so people come at him at every direction where, he's not safe anywhere he goes without people coming to, wanting autographs and wanting to talk to him and get close to him. Did you see any sexual misconduct with underage girls at any point in the years that you spent with him?
No, of course not. In fact, if I saw something like that, I would report it myself. But no, of course, no. I never saw anything like that.
Okay.
When he's in the studio, he's working, and very focused on his work.
So I'm going to stop it right there. And if you want to see that full interview, make sure you go stop by Faze's channel. See what all he had to say. But I just wanted to generalize my thoughts on Wayne Williams and the fact that I just don't get the vibes that he betrayed R. Kelly in any way. And reiterate the fact that considering he was with him with such a long time period and does have a police background, I would find it highly unlikely that he would miss a lot of this alleged abuse that is going on. But nonetheless, let's move forward, because we know also a couple interesting facts about Wayne Williams. Because though I don't feel like he has said anything negative about R. Kelly, he does have some interesting ties, such as the DJ Alan King, in which he used to DJ with. Now, I said a DJ that he used to work with. For all I know, they still work together. My bad. But anyways, not only is Alan King a DJ, but he's also an attorney. But not only is he an attorney, he's also married to Chicago alderwoman Sophia. What's her last name? Sophia King. That was slow. But anyways. And according to this article, shout out to Opinionated for sending it to me. In 2017, she was kind of scolded because her husband, Alan King, sent some letter trying to get a permission to have a fence removed, and they were talking about it. It was like she was using her position of authority to gain favors. But long story short, she's also friends with the Obamas. And the point in me bringing out the fact that she's also friends with Obama, because we also know somebody else who was friends with the Obamas. And that is Tina Chin. And from Tina Chin, here we go back to who? Kim Fox. And this whole Me Too, Time's Up agenda. All these people have a connection in some way, shape, or form, is the point. So you go from DJ Wayne Williams to his associate, Alan King, to his wife, Sophia King, to the Obamas, to Tina Chin, to Kim Fox. And we don't understand how we keep hearing this narrative, because it makes absolutely no sense to me to keep hearing the words from Jim Derogatis saying that everybody in Chicago knows this fact. Everybody in Chicago knows this and that. But none of these people acted. Makes no sense. But anyways, let's get back to DJ Wayne Williams. So anywho, we have now entering Julius Darrington. Now, as he said in a recent interview, they had dropped the I Admit before the scandal hit of surviving R. Kelly. And he was introduced to R. Kelly through Wayne Williams. It seems like it would be more of a convenience, being that Wayne has said he had left the record company and was going through his own personal things. So R. Kelly trusted the ear of Julius Darrington. And according to Julius, as I said in the beginning, before surviving R. Kelly, all these other artists were so interested in working with R. Kelly without a problem. Even up to March 27th, 2018, we see a post shared by R. Kelly, and it's him sharing Wayne Williams' story with them in the studio working. I'm just looking at this picture, thinking back to the things that Selena Johnson said, and it just shows the hypocrisy with these people. When there's outrage in America with her standing by R. Kelly for a song decades old, she wants to pull it from America, but she's going to continue to perform it in Africa and other places. How does that even make sense? So anyways, the point was, throughout majority of this time, Wayne Williams was around and doesn't recognize these so-called accusers as far as he knows. But let's go into somebody else who was introduced or recommended to R. Kelly by DJ Wayne Williams. And that was this attorney, Linda Mensch. And just a few details about her, because there's not much to tell. She was an attorney who has been cited as being the attorney who signed off on a lot of these alleged settlements. But according to her, she left her position in good standing and had no problems with R. Kelly. So let's move on to the next person. And no, she wasn't introduced by Wayne Williams, as far as I know, but I just want to wrap up a few more names while I'm doing this video. So Diana Copeland is a name we keep hearing over and over. And look at here, who's following her? Drea Kelly. Now we know for a fact that Diana Copeland is one of the people who were feeding the savages some of these stories. Now, is it possible that some of the stories being fed to the savages were over-exaggerated? It's possible. But as far as what has been put out there thus far, this person, in my opinion, is highly suspect. We've had multiple messages from this person being leaked, in which she has basically denied some of the things that put her in a bad light. But it's funny, they don't outright deny some of the other allegations that have been put out there. In this message, from Diana. She's saying, first, let me say nicely that it is impossible for there to be any kind of video like you mentioned because my relationship with Robert was nothing like that. So apparently, it seems to me, somebody seems to have been trying to intimidate her or threaten her, saying that they have her on video. And that seems to be a common thing, which is why I find it so ironic with these people wanting to keep talking about this witness intimidation bullshit when they are intentionally doing things to call people out, to try to blackmail people into submitting to what they want to be carried out. But anyways, here's another message saying, hey, I spoke with Kerry Kelly today for a long time. He is willing to help with investigation. We need you also. And by the way, I have another video coming out about Kerry Kelly as well, because his story just so all over the place. But anyways, a lot has been revealed. We know for a fact now from another source, Rob has you on tape. Also sexual something. I'll spare you the details. So again, somebody's trying to say they have a tape and is trying to coerce some information out of this person. But it's okay for these parents to do stuff like that. Isn't that obstruction? The major point also I wanted to point out about Diana Copeland is that she was with R. Kelly for 10 years, up until April 1st, 2018. And for the record, has not said anything negative publicly about R. Kelly. However, isn't it odd that she could have any information for the Savages detailing abuse, but she stuck around for 10 years? And I'm going to give you an example of something that was put out there as a narrative that brought Diana Copeland's name out. It was this story about this anonymous woman who they decided to name Kim, in which she is clearly not a minor. She was 19 when she encountered R. Kelly, allegedly. And according to this woman, he records everything. What is strange to me about her story and her so-called proof of her encounter is that she has a picture of R. Kelly allegedly laying on her couch or laying on the hotel couch, sleep. So this is just a prime example of how these women are always trying to capture him. But hold on, wait. I thought in some of their stories they weren't allowed to have phones. She provided screenshots of texts between herself and Kelly's assistant, Diana Copeland, and R. Kelly himself. So, this person named Kim goes to the paper and gives this story of her abusive relationship with R. Kelly. And she doesn't go to the police. She just gives her story. And then she brings out a person in which she's saying, this is the evidence. These are text messages between me Mr. Kelly and his assistant to prove what I'm saying. She also presented travel itineraries for the trip she took to see him, hotel receipts, and a photo she took of the singer asleep on a hotel couch. When Copeland was contacted, she identified herself before refusing to speak with reporters, adding, "What does her claims have to do with her?" According to the girl, Kim, she says, and I quote, "I knew what I was getting myself into." She added that she'd been a fan of R. Kelly since she was little and also enjoyed the lifestyle. So, again, what are we talking about? This is all propaganda in which they want to put out there. Throw some things about her being abused, and at the end of the article say she knew what she was getting herself into and she enjoyed the lifestyle. Isn't that what some of his entourage have said? Isn't that what his attorneys have said? But we get mad or offended when we hear them say or refer to them as groupies, which is what they were. What is the difference between them and the people like Black China, Alexis Sky, or Kat Stacks, who intentionally target celebrities just to get a photo like this to sell to the paparazzi for a good story? Then we have his publicist, who has worked with people like Kanye West, among many other stars, who says she is no longer representing R. Kelly effective April 16, 2018, and did not give a specific reason. Nonetheless, she didn't say anything negative about R. Kelly. Oh, this video is getting kind of long, so the last person I want to touch on is this guy by the name of DJ Phantom. Now, it's funny that if you go down his timeline, you will notice that, let's just show you. At one point in time, everything was all good for him, which it always is for these people. No complaints. For years. According to this post from December 6, 2017, this is him resigning from working for R. Kelly on a good note, in which he says, I would like to say thanks to R. Kelly and the RSK group for a great 10 years of working together. Today I separate brands to pursue another opportunity and partnership. Thank you also to the staff and stage personnel. Good luck to you, Mr. Kelly. Thank you, DJ Phantom. But before that, you see him linking up with other people, Janet Jackson, Jay-Z. I'm going to leave my comment about Jay-Z to myself. But he has a lot of connections with some of these people as well. But anyways, it's funny, these people get with R. Kelly, get their connections, leave R. Kelly. Here he is tweeting about Joycelyn, July 20th, 2017. Yet, for some strange reason, by 2018, he's on record saying that R. Kelly is a shitbag, and I quote, It's funny how the tables will turn, isn't it? I almost forgot this fact about the publicist, which was released by this so-called whistleblower on this R. Kelly saga facts. And it's just interesting to know that he had a so-called publicist, yet if you go do a little research, I want y'all to find me any positive articles about R. Kelly. So I'm just trying to figure out what she did. All these people that are proclaiming that they were doing press and public relations for R. Kelly, what were they actually doing? Because I don't see it. Any other artist going through anything that would tarnish their brand has a legal team and a publicist on deck ready to combat the negativity. But we don't see that with R. Kelly. But according to this whistleblower, this person is the person who recommended to the Savages that TMZ would fix their problems. She contacted one of her TMZ insiders and prepped Joycelyn for both interviews. She made Robert think she was connected to all of the major media outlets and would make his problems go away. She was also present at the home in Atlanta when the police showed up to do a wellness check. She called Joycelyn on FaceTime for the police, and they pretended Joycelyn was at the mall. She also advised Robert to hire expensive D.C. attorney Monique Presley, who's Bill Cosby's former attorney, who made over $100,000 from Robert in less than 90 days. Monique was supposed to fix his problems with the Savages and a few other females. We see how that ended. Monique will be another story. So as we keep seeing, these people just keep recommending these other people who are coming in doing dirty deeds. If you listen to these girls' stories about this alleged abuse, they're telling you all these people are doing this work for R. Kelly. Yet, where are these people listed in this indictment? We kept getting the articles of how his so-called enablers would be charged. And then we start getting all this bogus information being leaked to the press. Is that a coincidence? I think not. Now, as I get ready to close, I wanted to just bring something else to your attention. I got this message, and I've seen it before, and it's like I've told you all before. Maybe you missed it. I think it was in the video I did on boycotting Lifetime, in which I pointed out how Lifetime is in a umbrella of other corporations. They include Disney, they include Lifetime, they include A&E. Now, as you can see from this video, there's always people connected to somebody else. The importance is to make the connections and not just throw random shit out there. So I saw a post saying that the judge's daughter was the producer for Surviving R. Kelly. And then I saw another post where somebody was trying to clean it up and say, well, her daughter owns a production company which works for A&E, which owns Lifetime. Okay. Let me help you out, because let me just help you out. First of all, let me give a shout out to Jeff for having this conversation with me, in which, just like I pointed out to him, creating a false narrative and just grasping straws out of the air is not going to help. There is a conflict of interest here. So let's go through it. So you have the judge. You have her daughter, Rebecca Toth. She works for Sirens Media. Now, I don't even know, this screenshot right here is comical. Because first off, look at the date, 12/10/2015, and then you have some updates within the article, but from this half research that was done, they just saw executive producers and her name, and then they saw Surviving R. Kelly, and they put it all together. That's not exactly correct. Now, first and foremost, let's point out the fact that while this production company is calling out R. Kelly with this Surviving R. Kelly, they've had their own sexual assault allegations in which people have alleged they've been sexually assaulted while filming. So the audacity of them to want to focus their docuseries around sexual assault was very comical. Now, Rebecca and her partner, Valerie, do have some serious connections. And it would be a safe assumption to say that they are down with the Me Too Time's Up agenda. And the fact that they have had their hands on multiple different reality shows says a lot. But here's the connection. One of the actual producers from Surviving R. Kelly worked with these ladies on other reality shows. How do you think Drea Kelly was able to get her a special with the Hollywood exes? Her livelihood depended on using R. Kelly's name. And that's why she was at the forefront of Surviving R. Kelly, thinking she would be the main attraction. So let's just jump ahead a little bit, because May 22nd, 2018, we have it being reported that R. Kelly loses a lawsuit against Georgia Venue. And then at the same time, we have none other than Faith Rogers coming forward with her herpes lawsuit. Is that a coincidence? Because as we're connecting the dots and realizing, as I've said, all these broadcasting agencies are connected, all these people working for these companies are put into position to fulfill certain agendas. And last but not least, this is all about money. Now, is it possible Because we have heard that for the last couple years, R. Kelly has been trying to track down his financing. Is it possible that yet again somebody got caught with their hand in the cookie jar? So we have R. Kelly's management suing Comcast Spectre. Same time, we have Faith Rogers coming forth trying to pursue her lawsuit against R. Kelly. In this indictment, we see RSK Enterprises, LLC. But if you look up who's registered with this, you'll come to find it's James Mason. But yet, we don't see James Mason's name being listed in this indictment. Besides that false report by Tim Savage and Angelo Clary coming out going so hard for this man, I would have never started to try to connect these dots. But why is that? Ask yourself. This man who's acting as RSK Enterprises, LLC, comes out with this big lawsuit. Then you got yet another woman coming out with this allegation. And it seems like the same cycle over and over. Something is going on with somebody trying to extort or sue somebody to get some money. And then here comes another scandal. I'm so glad we have these women so thirsty for attention. They just do little stupid things. But I'm going to put this out there, and I'm going to leave you on this note. You have Geronda talking about she just found this receipt with R. Kelly's autograph on it. You know, some of you people who don't recognize that some people take scamming as a job. And it's certain individuals that will sit there and master people's signature. So even when these people go all out and keep saying, I have R. Kelly's signature, how can we be sure we actually see his signature on anything when you have thirsty so-called victims posting things like this with eerie messages? How can you trust the system when you have so many corrupt individuals campaigning for their re-election? Let's not forget, it's election season. And you have the power to change a lot of this in which we see playing out before us by eliminating some of these people who are pushing this agenda. Let's not be surprised by this little bullshit in which people want to keep leaking audios and all this other stuff. And y'all get so excited like we don't already know some of the things being said. It's a fact. Pedophilia is a real issue. And it's a fact that some of these people in our face are intentionally put there to hide the truth. The one thing that pissed me off the most about this Surviving R. Kelly was hearing these Caucasian people try to push this narrative of, well, if it was a white girl or nobody cared about these black girls. But go and look at Jeffrey Epstein's case. Go and look at the case of these priests molesting these children and never being identified in the public. Go and look up all these other cases of Caucasians in which the victims' names are never released. Yet what do we see with these little black girls? They've been put on public display to be ridiculed because they're lying and make a mockery of real victims. But hey, if y'all want to keep running with that, nobody cares about the black girls. Duh. And what? Don't let them manipulate shit we know. Go back in history when black men and women were put in animal zoos. Go back in time and do your history check before you get all amped up and emotional when people tell you some stupid shit. America was built on human trafficking. Every day we see these celebrities glorifying prostitution and escorting. What's really going on? Wake up. As always, I want to shout out everybody supporting the channel. I appreciate all the cash apps, those that have contributed on the Amazon registry. I'm just blessed and amazed every day. I appreciate you all. Drop some comments. Let me know your thoughts. Upcoming videos. And last but not least, please, 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 keep my name out of the mess. I don't do groups. I don't do cliques. I'm not drinking on nobody's juice but the truth. So at the end of the day, I don't care about none of this irrelevant shit that some of these other people are talking about. Because they're not talking about nothing. It's too many other facts to be pointed out. Too many other real connections to be pointed out. To be listening to people talking about the same fucking shit for almost a year now. Move on. I don't want to hear it in general. I appreciate those that genuinely want to help and that send information. But certain information from certain people I'm not going to use. Why? Because the same way I don't want to be associated with people talking reckless on the internet, I don't want to be associated with anybody making videos on YouTube with malicious intent. And that's what I'm seeing a lot of. So just keep that in mind as you watch people's videos. Because I'm not here to tell nobody who not to support. I'm not here to say don't watch this person. But I am here to say, please, keep me out of the bullcrap. Certain people and me, we just don't belong in the same sentence at all. And I'm not trying to throw shade, and I'm not trying to be funny. But I'm just saying, if you know what I'm saying. Have a good day.